everybody. I hope you're having a great spring. Welcome to Wicked Gingerbread. Today I'm doing an episode devoted to all things mushrooms, showing you 3 different recipes for that underutilized vegetable. I love mushrooms. I bulk up everything, even if it's not a mushroom dish. This is the first recipe is a breakfast item. It is going to be an egg, spinach, and mushroom frittata. And we're going to do a little twist on it. We're going to have a roasted potato crust. So the first thing you'll want to do, and I've already went ahead and took care of this, heat your oven up to 400 degrees. And then you want to just take your favorite potato. I just found some organic yellow potatoes. And you want to just slice them about, try to get them even, about this thin. And then I roasted them. I flipped them once. Roast them for, about a half hour total. Just keep your eye on them. You don't want them too dark. That's about as dark as I would want to go. But I have about 3 cups here, 3 or 4 cups. Okay, so we've got about 4 cups of egg whites, 1 cup of almond milk, 1 8-ounce container of mushrooms. To that, I'm going to put some garlic powder, about ½ a tablespoon or however much you think you might like. Pepper. I'll probably sneeze. Okay, and then you could use spinach. I just had some spring mix left, so I want to go ahead and use that. So this is about 3 cups of spring mix, 1.5 cups of regular chopped up white onion. You could use red. And then just give this a stir. And at this point, you could also add some sausage, breakfast sausage, that's already cooked, of your choice. I'm just keeping it vegetarian. So I've already sprayed this container. And I'm just gonna line the bottom. I'm gonna do the sides after I pour it, because the potatoes would probably just fall anyway.
You're standing your ground, ready to die on the hill that you built out of lies and deception, raising your weapon, every word you speak dripping with venom. You're playing with fire, preparing for war. I'm ready to settle the score. You're sounding the alarm while I'm trying to remain in the calm before the storm.
And the mushroom onion frittata, it is done. It took about 35-40 minutes. But this is going to make 8 very nice sized portions. Is mushroom enchiladas. Very simple recipe. You just need to grease a baking dish. This is, I don't know, a 9 by 12 or something. So I also have 8 ounces of 1/3 less fat cream cheese, and I brought it to room temperature. That way you can work with it. So we're going to do a mushroom filling, and then for the enchiladas, you're going to need 8 tortillas. Now I use this Extreme Wellness High Fiber. You only have 50 calories a piece, and the net carbs are pretty incredible. Now, I'm going to link down below an enchilada sauce recipe. Tomatoes, onions, all the usual suspects. But I try to do things a little bit, I don't have, we work, we're busy, we have life gets in the way. So I have found enchilada sauce, and that's what I'm going to use on the top. They have a lot of different, experiment with the different, they have organic, they have green salsa verde enchilada sauce, they have red, and just experiment. This is one of my favorites. It's inexpensive, Old El Paso. You can find it in almost every grocery store. And it's like $2 or $3 for the can, and it'll do all these servings. We're also going to use part skim mozzarella. And I've finely chopped mushrooms. Any mushrooms that you like. I've got the oven preheated to 400 degrees. And I'm using a 28-ounce can, rinsed and drained, of tomatoes. So I'm also topping it with sliced up jalapenos. But cater it, you know, depending on how hot or spicy you like it. You could also use chipotles in this. But I'm keeping it simple. You're just going to roll them up. So the first thing is we're going to have to make the sauce. Okay, into this cream cheese, I am going to add 2 cloves of garlic, about 1/4 of a cup of, you could use fat-free half and half. I am going to use almond milk, unsweetened almond milk. You just want to kind of loosen it up a little. And you're going to add your mushrooms. And by the way, if you wanted to make this completely vegan, if you could find some vegan cream cheese and some vegan cheese. The rest of it is not, and same thing with tortillas. You'd have to check the ingredients, but you could very easily make this vegetarian. And then if you really pay attention to the ingredients, you could easily make this vegan as well. So you want to just get this stirred up so that every part of it has a little bit of cream cheese on it. And at this point, if you're afraid that you're going to get uneven portions, because we're going to stuff 8 tortilla shells, you could measure it, weigh it out, see the total amount, and then divide it by 8, and that's how much you'd put in each one. I've done this a lot, so I'm just going to try to eyeball it. Hopefully I won't have to take anything out. So you want to just get your sprayed baking dish. And just start stuffing your tortillas.
Over your skin you can see it beat, intoxicating your energy. First time in so long you felt the heat, evaporating your bindings.
Okay, so the last part to this, and this is optional, I'm gonna go ahead and put those tomatoes, and just spread it out. Okay, and now for the enchilada sauce. And if you think that it might overflow, certainly put like some kind of a cookie sheet underneath it. And the last ingredient, I think there's about 2 cups of the part skim mozzarella. I'm going to actually cook this. I'm going to bake it at 400 degrees first for about 15 to 20 minutes so that everything's really cooked. And then I'll put the cheese on. If I put the cheese on now, it might burn. I'm going to put some jalapenos on here, but this is optional. Depends on how spicy you want it. I'm a little concerned that these jalapenos might be too hot. Funny story, I had my husband cut the jalapenos for me, and he didn't say a word. He just went ahead and cut them, but he put a little Post-it note on the package and had a skull and crossbone. I wish I would have kept it, but it fell off. So once you've got the peppers on, 400 degrees for about 20 minutes, and then for 10 minutes I'm gonna when it still has 10 minutes left, I'm going to put the cheese on. So total baking time, about a half hour. And the enchiladas are done. They went for about 35 minutes, 10 minutes with the cheese. You could let them go a little longer if you wanted it to be real bubbly. I'm going to let this cool off. I just took it out of the oven. If you like cilantro, I'm also going to top it with some cilantro. I'm going to try to get about 8 servings. It's kind of thick, about 2 inches thick. So once that cools, then I'm also going to top it with a little bit of sour cream. You could also put more tomatoes, more jalapenos, but as soon as it cools off, then I'll portion it out. So this dish is great if you have a vegetarian. I think it could even be vegan, or if you're just trying to reduce how much meat you're eating and really cashing in on those beautiful mushrooms that's in the store. So, meatless Mondays, of course. So you want to start off with whatever whole portobello mushrooms that your store has. And then I've thin sliced some, I had red onions. You want about a cup or maybe a half, depends on how much onion you like. So I just cleaned the mushrooms. I'm going to take you over to the grill. This is all going to be, this is grilled mushrooms, grilled onions with an Asian flair. I've already, because you need to soak these, you want to just rinse your mushroom off, cut up your onions, and I've put them in a little container. And the longer you marinate this, the better. You could even do this the night before. So I've taken 1/4 cup of low sodium soy sauce. I use coconut aminos. I cheated and I used about 1/2 tablespoon of already chopped up ginger, or just a little piece of the knob. 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. They also have some that have hot sesame oil. You could use that as well. So I just put this in with the mushrooms and the onions, and I let it soak. And I'm just going to throw it all onto a hot pan. And then I'm going to serve this after I grill them. I'm going to serve this over, I do this combination of riced cauliflower. I'll do 1/2 cup of that for each serving, and 1/2 cup of organic brown rice. That way you're still getting some whole grains, but instead of a whole cup, which has a lot of carbs of the whole grain, even though it's whole grain, I try to minimize and still give you a little bit of good stuff that you like. The rice, I don't mind cauliflower rice, but we all know the actual whole, brown or white rice is better tasting. So I try to mix it up so you don't have such a terrible, so it's not so many carbs. And then we're going to finish this off. I have a little sprig of mint. You could use basil, just something over top of it to kind of give it some freshness. So I'm going to have you go over to the grill. Okay, you want to put this on, let your pan heat up on medium heat. And this is what my little mixture looks like. Again, the longer you can soak it, at least soak it for a couple hours, but the longer you can go, the more, the mushroom, actually the onion and the mushroom are just like big sponges, so they'll kind of soak up the flavor that you give them. Okay, the pan is hot, so I'm going to go ahead and just pour this in. And I cut the little mushroom stems off, but I'm still going to eat those. So that's going to go on top of the rice. So you want to just reduce this down. Okay. So the grilled portobello onion, remember this has sesame oil, soy, reduced sodium soy, a little bit of ginger. So now I'm going to go ahead and plate this. You could use regular mayonnaise if that's what you have on hand, just regular mayonnaise, and then maybe put a little sriracha in it. I'm keeping this completely vegetarian and vegan, and I am using vegan mayo. This is excellent. I use it with tuna. I'll put it on wraps, sandwiches. Sir Kensington's special sauce, vegan mayo, because you know I have an egg allergy, in case you're new here. So it took me forever. I experimented with a lot of vegan eggless mayonnaise, and they are not all created the same. A lot of them are really terrible. One thing too with the rice, this is a good bit of rice. You want to make sure with the brown rice that I'm actually measuring it. I used a 1/2 cup measure and I weighed it. What looked like a 1/2 cup in the measuring cup was not a 1/2 cup. So just keep that in mind. The brown rice does tack on a lot of calories and carbs, and we're trying to keep this, you know, as healthy as we can. And I'm going to try to portion this out. And next time I might throw in a few more mushrooms and make 4 servings, but this looks like it's going to be 3 servings. And with the vegan mayo, I'm going to put about a tablespoon, drizzle it over each serving. So this is what I grilled it for about 15-20 minutes. And this is a good bit of rice. This could either be lunch or dinner. And I'm making one for me and my husband. So I'm just kind of bunching it up, and I'm gonna cut some mint leaves. And then for this does still have a lot of calories, so I'm going to go ahead and weigh one of them. So here it is with the vegan mayo. And you could store this in the freezer. Again, this would be a great lunch or dinner. If you're making it for dinner, maybe add some extra mushrooms and onions. This looks like more of a lunch portion, so maybe double up the onion and mushroom if you like. This looks like a great little dish. Give it a try. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Mushroom Madness. You're going to see, let me know if you like this episode where I focus in on one fruit or vegetable. Try to cook in season. Now, mushrooms you can have all year long, but I'm going to start seeing, go into the grocery store and see whatever looks the best in season. What's in season in your area, and then I'm going to base some episodes on that and see what I can come up with recipes. So thank you so much for joining me. Cook with some mushrooms. They're healthy for you, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week.